Hello, I hope you are doing well. In this video, we will provide you with an overview of the content that George will be covering. This lesson is part of Agricence's Matriculants, dedicated to delivering online educational content for grade 12 agricultural sciences. Today, our focus will be on the topic of factors of production. Factors of production are the resources used as inputs to create outputs. The output consists of goods or services produced for profit. Examples include land, labor, capital, and management. What is land? Land is a piece of ground that can be used for building or agricultural production. Essentially, it is a resource with financial value that is a primary natural resource for agricultural production. Some terms will be used that I need you to be familiar with. What is arable land? Arable land is land that is capable of producing crops, which means it can be used for agricultural purposes and is suitable for farming. Productivity is a measure of the efficiency of output as a ratio of input. Scientific methods of production increase land productivity by implementing improved agricultural practices to improve yields. The law of diminishing returns is an economic characteristic of land. It states that increasing one production factor while keeping others constant does not lead to a proportional increase in output. At the end of this video, you must be able to identify and describe the functions of land in economic terms. Indicate or describe the economic characteristics of land as a factor of production. Describe the techniques or methods of increasing land productivity. Alright, everyone, let's give a warm welcome to George as he takes the stage to share his insights and present the slides on this intriguing topic.
Today we are doing a topic called agricultural production factors. Okay, so agricultural production factors, we have land, we have labor, we have capital, we have management, and we're going to talk about all of this. This is our landizo, a production factor. Identify the functions of land in economic terms. So now they want you to identify what? The functions. The functions of what? The functions of land in economic terms. Okay? The functions of land in economic terms. This is what they want. The functions of land. The functions of land in what? In economic terms. So, soil provides what? Soil provides minerals. That is the function of land in economic terms. Soil provides minerals. Number two, soil provides what? Raw materials. Soil provides space for all living organisms. Meanwhile, provides what? Minerals. It provides what? Raw materials. Provides also the space for all the living organisms. That is the functions of land in economic terms.
Economic characteristics of land as a factor of production. Land is durable. Land is indestructible. Land is subject to the law of diminishing returns. Land is found in a specific environment. Availability of agricultural land is limited. Land has different production capacities. The law of diminishing returns states that while the yield capacity of land is primarily influenced by the physical characteristics of the soil, it can be increased to a certain extent by adding more capital or labor inputs per unit. However, there comes a point where additional inputs no longer lead to an increase in production. A point is reached where the yield per added factor of production will start to decline.
Law of diminishing returns. The law of diminishing returns. So we have a graph here, as you can see. That is the graph illustrating this law of diminishing returns. As you can see on our y-axis, we have the amount harvested, okay? Then we have on our x-axis, this side. So we have the fertilizer. So we have 1 bag of fertilizer, 5 bags of fertilizer, 10 bags, 14 bags, 15 bags, 16 bags, and 17 bags. So as you can see, one bag. With 1 bag of fertilizer, we were able to harvest 50 kg of maize. Then with 5 bags, we were able to harvest 100 kg of maize. With 10 bags, we were able to harvest 140 kg of maize. Okay. Then with 14 bags, we were able to harvest 170 maize, 170 kg of maize. Then with 15 bags of fertilizer, we're able to harvest 190 kg of maize. Then with 16, we're able to harvest 190. So we see okay, this is stable. We can see already 15 bags and 16 bags, they are the same. So it's like an input, we are making an input, so we expect an output. The input is the fertilizer that we put in. So the output is the amount harvested in kg. Again, the amount of maize that we will harvest in kg. So it has been increasing, and all of a sudden we see, okay, our graph or our line graph becomes constant. Okay, so it was increasing from 1 bag to 15 bags. It was increasing. So all of a sudden, from 15 to 16 bags, so it is constant. Yeah? So it's no longer increasing. So what is this law of diminishing returns? So an increase in more units of fertilizer did not result to the proportional further increase in the yield. An increase in more units of fertilizer did not result to the proportional further increase in the yield. Meanwhile, the yield or the output is no longer increasing even if you add more and more bags of fertilizer. At this point, that is when we say that our soil has reached the limit, and it can decline. So yeah, as we can see, it's no longer increasing. It has reached the limit, right? So this is what the law of diminishing returns talks about.
Let's do a quick recap. Functions of land in economic terms. Provides space, provides food, supplies minerals, and supplies raw materials. Economic characteristics of land as a factor of production. Land is durable. Land is indestructible. Subject to the law of diminishing returns. Land is found in a specific environment. Availability of agricultural land is limited. Land has different production capacities. The law of diminishing returns states that when you increase inputs in the production process, output initially increases. However, there comes a point at which further increases in input lead to a decline in output.
Describing the techniques or the methods of increasing the land productivity. So now we are looking for the techniques that we can use, or the methods that we can use when we want to increase our land productivity. We want to improve our land. So we want to improve the productivity of our land. So we want the techniques that can help us to improve this productivity, this land productivity. So number one, we have irrigation, okay, or we can say improving water management. Irrigation or improving water management can increase land productivity. Point number two, we have restoring the land, or you can say resting the land, meaning you can skip 2 years without using the land for agricultural purposes. Then in that way, you are resting the soil. You plant this year, maybe you plant vegetables this year, then next year, then you rest the land. We don't use that land for next year. So you skip maybe for 2 years, then after 2 years, then you're going to use that land again for agricultural purposes. Then in that way, you are resting the land, or you are restoring the land. Number three, using scientific farming methods. Using scientific farming methods. Scientific farming methods, um, there's many things involved, yeah, that are proven to be scientific farming methods. Yeah, yeah, but yeah. So irrigation or improving water management. Number two, resting the land or restoring the land. Number three, using scientific farming methods.
Let's do a quick recap. Describing the techniques or methods of increasing land productivity, irrigation or improving water management, resting the land, and using scientific farming methods.